I've had love handles since I was 4.
What?
Boom, 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 yeah, get your kit off.
Oh great, we're back on the vaginas.
It's bendy.
I actually took it to go away.
I welcome all penises here. Don't shag cows.
Clitoris.
Please never do that in my house. Hello and welcome to Swipe, Match, Marry, the modern relationship and dating podcast. I'm James.
I'm Marny.
And I'm Steve.
Join us as we explore love, life and dating in London.
Do we have to adapt to find love?
How do you find and define your sexuality?
Has the internet ruined dating?
We're going to be discussing all of this and more as we attempt to unlock the code to modern dating culture.
Please be aware that this podcast contains adult content, sexual themes and strong language, which is the only reason why I'm here. Now let's get into the show.
Hello and welcome back to Swipe, Match, Marry. Thanks for joining us again, or for first-time listeners, hello and welcome. I'm sure you're going to get to know us very quickly. So, Steve, on a few podcasts back, you were talking about an adventurous date that you took a young lady to, which was Go Ape, which made me think about other adventurous dates that people either we have been on or whether other people have been on, and especially with London being full of experience-based activities, I thought it was a nice starting point. Any exciting date places that you've been on within our finest capital where we all live?
Well, you know when you say to someone, let's go for a drink, and you decide to go for a drink. I went to an amazing, bar called Nightjar.
Where's that?
And it's in Old Street, and we were in the cab, and she said, oh, let's go to this place called Nightjar, let's go. And I was like, okay, cool, don't know what it is. I was slightly hammered anyway. And we got there, and literally, it was just a normal street going off the roundabout at Old Street. And I was just kind of like, where is this? I walk down the street every single day when I go to work, when I teach. I walk down the street. There's no bar here. There's no bar. There's just a Lycra mobile to get your mobile fixed and some halal meat place. There's no place there.
Sounds classy.
And then there was this just one guy just stood on the street looking like a bouncer. He was a bouncer. And he was like, you guys want to come for a drink? And we were like, yeah, okay. And then he went into his little walkie-talkie. He was like, table for two. He took us downstairs. There wasn't even a sign. It was just a black door. And we went down, and it was a speakeasy, 1920s, incredible cocktail place. There was a guy just crooning jazz on a piano. The cocktails were amazing. I had an old-fashioned.
Oh, the best cocktail.
Stunning. Rather than having sugar put into it, they served it with candy floss on a stick.
Oh,
nice.
So you could dip the candy floss.
I think we need a Swipe, Match, Marry night out.
Yeah.
They dip the candy floss into the old-fashioned to make it sweeter.
This
Lovely.
sounds incredible. I've never heard of that.
That sounds really good.
I've had a lot of old-fashioned, a lot of different cocktail bars, but never that.
It's a nice twist.
But then I ended up having a really sour old-fashioned because I ate the candy floss first.
Like a child.
Yeah, I was more excited about the candy floss than I was about the drink. I was like, oh, wow.
There's a place in Chinatown. I can't remember what it's called.
I know
Experimental
it.
Cocktail
It's the Experimental Cocktail Club.
And it's a dirty door.
Yeah, you can't find it.
No, it's really tricky.
I'm telling you, if you want to take a date there and you've not been there before, you need to do a recce before you go and find the door, because you will look like a tit when you can't find it.
Have you done that?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Of course I have.
I have walked up and down, only with friends, but I have walked up and down and sort of stared at this random collection of doors, and the website is just a picture of the door.
Yeah.
And you need to reserve if you want somewhere to sit. Or actually, you need to reserve even if you don't want someone to sit. But yeah, you do look like an absolute douche if you're not walking up and down.
I do think cocktails are a brilliant way of getting to know somebody.
A bit of booze kind of helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, well,
I hate to say
and also
that,
the choice.
it
What
really
do they go
does,
for?
and that's true. It's a talking point, isn't it? Like what you
because I'm very manly. I love an old fashioned.
He does.
Well, I mean, that's quite enough. I'd have thought you'd have been on the sex.
Hello, can I have a lavender spritzer? It's probably not a cocktail.
No, the experimental cocktail is good. You have to reserve though, and you can only reserve via email.
The first time I went, I remember sort of knocking on a door, and this man came out and went, "Yes," and I was like, "Hello, we have a reservation. Can we come in, please?" And he looked at us up and down for about 30, 40 seconds, and then went, all right then. And then we went up, and I just remember the carpet being really rank. And then we sort of went up, turned around, and it was this beautiful, fabulous bar, and everyone was lovely. I don't know why, but I really like it when they serve you water with your cocktail. I always think, this is a classy.
Yeah, they know what they're doing because obviously the alcohol content of the cocktails warrants the water.
There is a place called, I think it's called Bring Your Own Cocktails, and it's in Covent Garden, and I don't know if it would be a cheaper night, if it's or not, but you take your own spirit because they don't have a license to sell alcohol.
Oh, that's interesting.
And you go down, and what you do is you give them your alcohol and they make cocktails out of it. So you can buy a bottle of gin from Tesco's for 15 quid or £20, depending on how much you want to spend.
The quality of the gin.
You know, Gordon's, there it is. And you take it down there, and they make the cocktails for you.
That's a nice idea.
Which I think is quite nice.
I'm just sort of writing down lists for us to do.
For us to go.
Forget the dates.
Well, I've actually got a date tomorrow night.
Have you?
Yeah, so I've been looking at fun places to go because I've kind of took on board what we've been talking about before about how if you have an adventurous date, it's more interesting and you're more likely to remember it. And I'm kind of bored of just going for a drink or just going for something to eat. And when, Steve was talking about his Go Ape and all of his, what was that thing you did? The ice hockey match.
Ice hockey.
I really thought, God, I haven't done anything very interesting at all. So I thought I'm going outside the box here, and I'm gonna try and find something interesting. So I googled fun dates in London. And
can I just stop you there?
Yeah.
I did that.
Can I just do a little thing? If you can hear liquid, we're not weeing, we're just filling up our wine glasses. Sorry, carry on.
Doing research for this, I typed in date facts on Google, and I found a lot of things about actual dates, as in like the fruit.
Oh.
Great.
Just as a little aside.
Okay.
Well, this podcast is like sort of dangerously
really high in sugar
approaching
dates,
a podcast on cookery and baking, because Marny normally makes them delicious, so we don't really want dates.
But
fun dates in London.
So where are you going?
So, we are going to a place called Rowan's, which is a bowling alley opposite Finsbury Park Station.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a bowling alley, and they've got pool tables and arcades, and you can get booze there. And
sounds brilliant. And buffalo wings, I imagine.
And buffalo wings, probably. It's a kind of billed as an American diner, so I guess it's a bit like Bloomsbury Bowling Alley.
Fabulous.
Or All-Star Bowling Lanes. They're also two really cool places in London.
But when you go on a date, do you always think of where the date is and where you live?
Well,
because you're South London and Finsbury Park is quite northeast.
This is true, and the
and
reason.
Is this a first date?
It is a first date.
Does he live in Finsbury Park?
No, he doesn't live in Finsbury Park. He lives on the train line out of Finsbury Park.
So did he?
You're setting it up. You're setting it up. You're doing it again. You're going on a first date and you're going to end up on your back.
Outrageous! Marnie's a nice girl.
No, I've turned over a new
You've set it. You've set it. I can see it now. You've set the foundation.
To be fair, you have said I'm quite sexually.
Casual. No. I mean, I'm really trying. This person is a bit of an out of the box person for me. This isn't someone that I would normally go for, and I am.
Did you buy him? Out of the box.
Yeah, he's just a blow up doll.
Oh, great.
The reason that I suggested Finsbury Park is because I'm actually meeting my family in Barons Court, so it's kind of easy for me to just shoot up on the Piccadilly line and get up to Finsbury Park really easily. And also, he's working tomorrow, so he's having a really long day, and I just thought, meet for a couple of hours. We've been trying to meet for 2 weeks now, and we just haven't been able to because of our schedules, and we're like clawing in 2 hours of time. We're not going to Costa Coffee, trying to be a bit more adventurous.
Well, to be fair, that is anywhere that's not Costa Coffee is a win.
Do you know what? Though you say that, I went to Costa Coffee the other day.
On a date?
I had £5.70 on my rewards scheme, so it does work.
We should just do a little recap for new listeners that, Steve is basically sponsored by Costa Coffee and does all of his
every
dates
date
in
will
there.
end up in Costa. So are you going there to bowl, or are you just going there to hang out?
Well, I suggested that it's easy for him to get home. I'm out and about anyway, so it makes no difference to me. And I just thought it'd be a bit more fun, and we can bowl if we want, we can play pool if we want. I'm terrible at all of these things. I'm the least sporty person in the world.
Good that you've put yourself out there.
So I'm going to try and be more adventurous, because I feel like I'm learning quite a lot about myself by talking about all this stuff. I'm going to be more adventurous, not get hammered, and not shag him.
Good. Good things.
I
That's
don't
good
believe the
advice.
third one. I'm going to put money on the table now. I'm going to
No,
put
I
£10
believe
on
the
the table.
third one. I believe the third
I've
one.
got to get up really early on Monday. I can't.
Getting up early in Finsbury Park or getting up early in
He
South
doesn't
London?
live in Finsbury Park. He lives out.
However fun we think we are, we're always dictated by the time we have to get up the next day.
Yes, exactly.
Which is-
I digressed, didn't I? Because I was just
You
chatting
did-
about
you
my
did
date.
little.
So I googled fun dates to do in London, and Romans was a part of this 10 good fun dates to do article that I found. Maybe it was like a Telegraph thing or a Guardian thing. I can't remember. But top of the list of that was to do a butchery class.
I'd love to do that.
What? Cut up meat?
Yeah, so
That's
it's
brilliant.
really expensive. It's £155
Oh,
a
I'm not doing
head.
that.
For a date?
For a date, yeah. But you basically get given half a pig, and you
take it home.
you
Your
get to
freezer's
take all
not
the
big
meat.
enough.
To
You
be
learn
fair,
about-
if you've made a bit of a terrible deal of cutting up a pig, they're not going to try and
Yeah.
salvage it, are they?
So you learn about all the different cuts of the pig, and you learn how to cut it up properly.
Is it pig based?
It is. It said it was pig, not
Okay.
any other animal.
A whole cow.
And then you have a delicious meal with your fellow classmates. And you get to take home what you've butchered. And I thought that sounds brilliant because I love eating and I'm
Yeah.
a massive carnivore. But I just thought, God, can you imagine if you had a first date with someone and you'd
You turned up and on the table was a
veggie?
pig.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty hardcore, isn't it?
I think you'd tell them before, wouldn't you?
Well, you'd hope
like
so.
before
Surprise!
Before I took this girl on to Go Ape, I said, look, wear a sports bra,
So,
come
I'm
prepared.
sorry. Hello. I've never met you, but wear a sports bra. That's quite something.
But no, it wasn't a first date.
If
It was
someone-
we're in there. I could scale it. I could say, oh, she's going to be adventurous. I'll try.
Yeah.
Just because I was being selfish because I hadn't been to Go Ape for a while and I needed to go down a zip line. But
I recognise your feeling. I haven't been for a while either. And
do you know what I mean?
Oh,
you just
yeah.
want to have it.
definitely. You want to
I
get
don't
pushed out of a
understand.
tree.
Literally Go Ape is like my idea of hell.
I think you'd really enjoy it.
I think you think that, and then I think if you actually went to Go Ape, you'd really enjoy yourself.
I don't want to risk it, but thanks.
Risk what?
No,
I just-
because we could end up with
Falling out the
Marny
tree.
up a tree just screaming.
Yeah, I wouldn't get down. I wouldn't be able to get down.
Right, okay. Well, I went with my brother and one time to Go Ape, and he actually fainted mid crossing.
No.
He genuinely.
What a
bless
puffy
him.
whoopsie.
That's my brother.
I love your brother.
He
okay to
he
be a
fainted.
puffy whoopsie.
He's not a puffy whoopsie. He just fainted, and he was halfway across the crossing, 10 meters up in the air, and he just fainted. And the instructor said that he bananaed out, which is you're hanging in your harness so much that you bend down, so your head's facing the floor,
Yeah.
and your legs are facing the
the thing.
floor.
That'd be good for
and
the back.
the rules are one person across the crossing at the same time. I was like, stuff that. That's my brother. Jumped out there, picked him up, put him on the little platform. He was coming to. Got out my little red whistle that you have to whistle 3 times.
Oh, yeah, I remember the whistle. Yeah.
Yeah. Whistled that, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, where are you? I'm like, in a tree.
Obviously a tree.
Whereabouts? Just after the stirrups. It's like, and...
I hate the stirrups.
Oh, the stirrups are the hardest
Maybe
bit.
that's why he fainted. He did the stirrups. He was
Yeah.
like, no more.
Bless him.
Zonk.
I saved him as a big brother.
Good
But
for
he
you.
didn't die, and he fainted mid-crossing.
Look, I'm not saying that if I go to Go Ape, I'm going to die. I'm just saying if I'm going to spend... I mean, how much does it cost to go to Go Ape?
£35.
£35?
It's
That's
really
3
fun.
cocktails.
But you can go 4 times before you pay enough to butcher a pig.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
I'd
true. But then
really
you
like
all the meat you get.
To butcher a pig. I mean, on a date or not on a date. I think that's a really exciting
I really wanna
idea.
do
It's
that.
interesting. I
Do you-
just thought it was really funny that was top of the list.
But do you get like a saw? Or
I
do
don't
you have like a
know.
big, one of those remember in
cleaver.
DT? When you had the circular saw things that just keep
I-
going
Bandsaw.
round. A bandsaw, just like chopping a
I
head off.
doubt it's anything like that. I imagine they give
don't
you a
know, you
flank of pig and you cut it off.
If I'm
into
paying
sections.
150 quid, I want a full pig there, and I want a selection of different blades and different saws to make beautiful cuts of meat.
Yours is like the saw butchery class, isn't it?
Yeah, like Hostel.
Oh, I can't watch that. I went on a cookery date. It was with an ex-boyfriend of mine, and we got bought a voucher to go and cook at this place around Oxford Street. And we turned up, and we had to cook our own lunch, basically. which I think is rude. But it was good. We were on a table of 4 people, and we had to make like a garlic mayonnaise, and I can't remember what else we cooked, but it was good. But I remember the other 2 people that we were paired with, they were useless, and I like cooking. I'm quite good at it, I think. And they were so bad, and it kind of ruined it.
Is this a date place?
I think you can go on a date there,
Because which date place do you go to that makes you make garlic mayonnaise? That's probably the last thing I want to have
That's
on
a bit
date.
gross, yeah.
Unless you're serving for all 4 people.
I mean, I don't think every recipe has garlic mayonnaise with it. I think you can pick what you cook.
When you eat right, I'm really good at cooking a lasagna and a chili con carne.
Mm-hmm. Because you're from Yorkshire.
Yeah. Or a shepherd's pie. I can do a shepherd's pie. But I'd be gutted if you'd paid 30 quid. Like, oh, come on, you know, let's go to this cookery class. I think it'd be quite nice, you know, just do a task, have a hobby. Like you said, the fact that if you do a hobby on your first date, you know, you're more likely to carry on. And you go there and they're like, so today we're going to make chili con carne. Like, I'd be like, ugh, you know.
Fuck off.
No, I don't want to do that. I mean, aggressive
So
to that cookery
aggressive.
instructor.
With you, if I'm going to pay 30 quid and I'm going to leave my house, I want someone else to fucking cook my dinner for me. I don't want to do it myself. I do it for myself all the time at home.
Well, this is true.
Do you know what I mean?
I do love a good restaurant, though. There
Or
are
maybe a
many.
cake decorating class.
Oh, I'd like
I'm
to do
shit at
that.
that. That'd be
I'm
good.
terrible at piping. Really bad.
We hope you're enjoying the chat so far. If you want to get in touch with us or share your dating stories, you can follow us on Twitter @SwipeMatchMarry. Now let's get back to the podcast.
A good date would be to do, and I know, James, that you've done this before, and it's the secret room thing.
Oh,
That would be-
escape rooms.
Escape room.
That's brilliant. I know. I wouldn't recommend that.
Oh,
Not on
for
the
a
first
date?
date.
No.
Well-
Simon and I have been together 3.5 years, and I wouldn't recommend
Oh,
going.
really?
Oh no.
Did you argue?
True colours come out. No, it's just because the stress of it. You've got an hour to get out of this room, and it's not easy.
No.
You enter this room and you think that's it. Oh no. Oh no. It's a lot, and it's very stressful. It's great fun. Good to do with friends. Yeah, it is good to do with your partner. I'm quite high maintenance, so I'm very controlling, and I get really into that kind of stuff. I'm very competitive. But I wouldn't recommend it for a first date because I don't think you know your strengths as a couple, obviously, because you're not one,
so that's
and you
a
don't
good
really
thing
know
to
what they're
avoid.
good at. Yeah, I would avoid escape rooms for a date, but if you're in a relationship and you want to go with friends, then do it. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Great fun.
Another place that I went to that took something out of the box was I went to the Luna Park Cinema.
Oh, where's
So
that?
instead
is that
of
not in Crystal Palace?
they're all over the place. In
Oh,
London.
I didn't realise.
They do like a tour thing, and it's like going to the cinema. But you go to the cinema in the summer in the middle of one of London's parks, and you they've just got a massive screen, and you sit down with a picnic blanket. You take whatever food you want, you take whatever beer you want, champagne, anything like that, and you just have a picnic and watch the film. And we went to watch The Goonies.
Oh, brilliant film.
The best thing about it was we went in there and there was this tent or like gazebo and a rack of costumes. And we were like, okay, that's a bit strange. Carried on through, walked into the main area where, you know, you could be a picnic blanket or you could pay extra and sit on a seat like a deck chair. And in the middle was this king-size bed. And furniture and around, and it was astroturfed, and they'd basically set up a hotel room by Doubletree from Hilton, and we were just kind of like, what's that doing there? And we went to a steward and we were like, who gets to go in the bed? And they were like, oh, if you go to the entrance, that's where there's a little costume rail and you've got to take a picture and tweet it. Well, of course, me and the girl I was seeing at this time were just kind of like, right, well, we are going to smash this. We were very competitive. We went in there, she dressed up as a Ghostbuster, I dressed up as a minion from Despicable Me.
Excellent.
We took this photo, then you tweet it at Luna Cinema, blah, 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 blah. And then it's literally on the screen, it goes, before we start, the winner of the Doubletree thing is, and then pops up the picture of me being Ghostbuster dressed as a minion.
Amazing!
By the girl I was seeing, and we'd won.
That's so cool.
And literally everyone was like, woo, 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 like cheering and screaming.
And you got the double bed?
And we got the double bed, but we rushed there. I forgot my sausage rolls that I left on a picnic blanket. We then were tucked into this king-size bed and given the like popped over champagne.
Oh, they gave you champagne?
No, we were seeing each other
you were seeing
at this time, but it was kind of one of those let's do this together kind of dates. And they popped over the champagne. There was like 10 bottles of Estrella beer and stuff like that.
Wow,
It was sponsored
eh?
everything. We got goodie bags. Well, the best thing was, because we set up for a picnic, we had bags with us, so we nicked all the alcohol and everything that we could lay our hands on. And but it was such a beautiful thing to sit in this
cool.
king-size bed in the middle of a London park watching the Goonies.
Good work. Was it a bit horny?
A little bit.
Yeah, I
She
bet.
did start touching me up.
Oh, goodness.
blimey, well,
And
I
I was a bit like I was a bit
No.
like stop it.
They're
Yeah.
doing
Stop it.
Jurassic Park this summer in Crystal Palace, which is appropriate
Oh,
because they
that's
have
cool.
all
Can
of
we
those
go?
terrible dinosaurs there.
Yeah,
Can we
I
go?
love Crystal
Yeah,
Palace.
sure, why not?
It's my hometown. I love it. Wow.
It's
It's very near to where I live.
Liar.
Well, yeah, it's near to
I'm
both of
pretty
us.
near. Come
It's
walk
like
there.
someone says, "Oh, I live in Dulwich," and it's like, "No, you don't live in Dulwich. You live in Peckham."
Or
Yeah,
they're
well-
like, I live in Blackheath, but actually it's Lewisham.
Oh,
Yeah.
shut up. Well, there is a cinema in Notting Hill called the Electric Cinema, and they have
Yes.
beds in.
They do,
The
yeah.
front row is all lovely velvet.
And I'm a
Beds.
massive fan of the Picture House group, of which I'm a
Yeah.
member of, and I absolutely love that they have taken over a lot of sort of disused venues. Like I think one of the most recent ones is obviously Picture House Central, which has taken over the old Trocadero UGC or Cineworld or whatever it was. But they have the one in East Dulwich that I think was an old library or a police house or school or something. And I absolutely love them, and they always have sofas and stuff, which I quite
It's
like.
great.
I would argue, though, that going to the cinema isn't great for a first date.
No, I agree.
No.
Definitely
It's
not.
definitely a few dates down the line, isn't it?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
like, how many dates down the line would you think that going to cinema is? Like, third, fourth
Yeah,
date?
third, fourth, I think. I think that's okay.
Yeah.
I think, especially now when the date doesn't stop after the first date, there's a lot of
you know-
texting and getting to know
Yeah.
each other. I think that going on a third, fourth date is okay.
And you always end up going for dinner afterwards anyway, so it's
Oh,
just
dear.
kind of like it just extends.
Or before.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Just
Oh,
love
do
the
you?
fact
What
that
do you have?
just
Do you go to the
literally
cinema and then just like
everything
go
just goes
boink?
back to food? No!
Food.
Everything just goes back to food.
Well, it always
doesn't
goes to. It always seems that like making these podcasts. It seems like it always goes back to food with me, and it always goes back to you on your back.
Outrageous!
You know what, Steve? I would love it if there could be one podcast that my mum could listen to.
That's not going to happen for any of
You
us.
keep saying that. Means that she will never be able to listen.
Moving
God.
swiftly away from Marny on her
But
back.
the reason that I was getting at that is because I think there's a statistic, I might have plucked this out of thin air, read it in some shitty magazine somewhere about how many dates it takes for people to commit to one another. And I think it's very different for men and women, isn't it? So for men kind of feel like they've met someone that they like within 3 or 4 dates, and women make a decision much later on. It's something
Right.
like 12 or 14 dates.
I wonder why
even.
that is. That's such a difference, isn't it?
Because
It's
we're
4
less
times as
complicated.
much. I don't know that we are. I think we're more complicated.
I think men are less complicated.
I don't know. I think that we're more complicated.
I genuinely believe that there's been a couple of people that I've dated 3, 4 times, 5 times, and I've kind of gone, I really like these people,
Yeah.
and the girls have then come round and gone, I'm sorry, it's just not working for me. Can we remain friends? You know,
Oh, the friend
tagline,
card.
the friend card. And I'm just like, oh. And I generally get really gutted. I do.
I can't bear dating. I'm glad I don't have to do it anymore.
It's stressful.
Obviously, Simon and I date and we do things still and nice things as a couple, but I never could bear that dating.
But the
thing.
pressure's off with you two. It's, you know, dating for you two is just kind of like,
This is true.
let's just spend time together. Let's make this time just for us.
Yeah.
Rather than our dating situation is, let's spend this time to work each other out and
I
find
mean, don't
out
get me
about
wrong.
each
Yeah.
I've done a lot of what you're doing now.
Yeah, it's
but-
horrible. When I was I haven't sort of dated via an online medium for about a year now, maybe even a bit longer, but I found it really stressful. It made me really anxious. And I'm not really a stressy person. I'm not an anxious person. I'm quite chilled out. And I was worrying about the weirdest things. I was worrying about what to wear. I was worrying about whether I said the right thing. I was worried about whether the date was fun and whether we were going to the right place.
Which is a tricky thing because ultimately you shouldn't have to change anything about yourself because really you can't. You can't in the long term, especially the age we are now, so late 20s, early 30s. You really should be clear enough about who you are, and I know that it's perfectly natural to think about what you're wearing and you want to look nice and you want to present this perfect image, but actually, eventually, at some point down the line, the person you're dating is going to find out who the real you is.
Yeah.
So unless you're totally at ease with that, which I appreciate is a difficult thing to do, you just sort of have to, I don't know, get on with it, be yourself.
It's just really difficult when the real me just wants to be in my pyjamas and eat pizza all the time.
Which is a lovely thing, but there'll be someone out there that wants to. In fact, there's probably quite a lot of people. I'd quite like to be in my pyjamas and eat pizza all the time.
I mean, right now after this wine, I'd quite like to be in my pyjamas and have a pizza.
I know.
Well, we've got Chinese on the way.
Woohoo!
Classy podcast.
Out of all the dates and everything we've been on, has there been a particular date or an idea that someone has gone, hey, let's go here, and you've gone along, but you knew from the moment you said yes, it was a bad idea?
Oh.
That's interesting.
Oh, blimey.
Has that ever happened?
I went on a date that I didn't really want to go on. It was with someone that I was kind of seeing, but I didn't want to. I'd already tried to break it up.
Was it a boy
before.
Or a girl?
It was a boy.
You say that
Don't
to
look
me.
at it like that, like
you used to be straight. So
Look, I know I've had a past with the
clarification.
girls. I mean, I wouldn't say I dated any of. Well,
Hang on a minute, you've got some stories.
I have got some stories.
Well, we'll talk about that another time.
Yes, this guy, I didn't really want to go out with him, and he was really nice and younger than me, and just, I don't know, but he took me for dinner one night, and it was in a really sort of industry-based place, and I just wasn't enjoying it very much, and it was all a bit full on. But it was quite a sweet gesture.
So he was trying to show off.
A little bit.
Right,
sort of show
I
off.
see.
I think he, considering his age, and he wasn't young, he was sort of mid-20s, but a bit younger than me, and I just wasn't up for it, and it was just like a showy off fancy venue, and I was like, this is not you, this is kind of me, but we're not going to pretend. And yeah, I wasn't into it, and it was a bit awkward, the whole thing.
See, other than Costa, I never really...
Can we have one podcast where we do talk about Costa?
Well, I'm trying to get sponsorship.
Oh, sure. Well, that makes sense.
I never have a go-to place to go on a date with
I've
somebody.
got
It's a
few.
bad idea, I think.
Oh, really?
What, never having a go-to place?
Don't have a go-to place. Do you remember I talked about a date where I went to
The jazz
bar?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was noisy and it was awful and
Yeah,
it was
you
a difficult
hated it.
place. I had a really awful time because I couldn't hear the guy and it was
that
just,
his go-to place?
Yeah, and he said that to me. He said, I love this place. This is my go-to place for dates. And the next day when he texted me, he actually texted me and said, I'm guessing that you don't want to meet up again. And I was like, to be honest with you, yeah, I didn't think we really get on, and I think that you should reevaluate your first date venue.
Oh.
That's good though, because men, I guess, need feedback. Well, anyone needs
It's
feedback.
like, it's no wonder you keep having terrible first dates if you keep fucking bringing people to hear me.
I have a bit of a go-to, or at least a bar that I like to go to where, well, it's a good date or good place I go with
Where's
friends.
that?
It's Mark's Bar at Hicks.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's just lovely. The
Where's
one
that?
near Piccadilly. It's the Hicks restaurant. I think it's either the first one or certainly their flagship. And they have Mark's Bar, which is underneath, so you go down the stairs, and it's just lovely. Sometimes it's busy, sometimes it's quiet. You have to order food, which for me is absolutely fine because...
Yeah. Winner.
I mean,
Win-win.
the more the better. Their license dictates that you have to drink
Order food
with food because it's like a restaurant venue. And it's like an apothecary.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Love it.
One cocktail I ordered came in like this goblet thing, and you had to pour from a little metal flask into the goblet. And it
Did
was
you
all
feel like
very
Harry
lovely.
Potter?
I felt a little bit like Harry Potter, but also a little bit like a Disney princess, which was great because it was sort of this. Steam came off the ice. It wasn't steam, but
I got served a
well.
cocktail once. This is going off topic a little bit. I'll bring it back. But I got served a cocktail once, and it was served in in Beauty and the Beast, how there's the vase over the rose.
Yeah, don't touch the rose.
You can't touch the rose. Well, imagine the rose being my cocktail,
Right.
and the cocktail was emitting like dry ice.
Oh, lovely.
Where
and
was this?
This was in Edinburgh.
Oh.
And this was another speaker. I have a thing about speakers. It's set as a barber shop, and you go down and you walk through a bookcase.
That's cool.
And it came on like a wooden plinth, and you had to lift up this like big glass experimental vase thing, and just this dry ice just emitted out over the whole of the
That's
table.
cool.
That's very
You
camp.
like a bit of theatre, don't you?
I do. It's very
Bit of
theatrical,
drama.
very theatrical, and it was only a cream soda, but
Just love that. I think it's
I
a
went
really
to one in
cool.
Dublin as well. Similar thing. You had to punch a code into the door before you could get in.
or like
Brilliant.
Crystal Maze in the
Kind
futuristic.
of like-
zone.
Well, talking of Crystal Maze, now Crystal Maze is an up and running thing in Angel, which we've been to and is absolutely fantastic. So, do you think something like the Crystal Maze is good for an early
No.
date?
No.
Are you kidding me? If somebody saw
No.
me in
Marriage.
that horrible jumpsuit, sweating my knackers off, getting stuck up the staircase, going,
knackers?
"Oh my god, I can't do this!" Awful. Deal breaker.
Stuck up the staircase. That's only moving
My
from
arse
zone to
isn't going to
zone.
fit in. I'm so worried about the whole thing.
Your arse will fit
I'm
in.
really
Come on.
up for it. I'm really, really up for it. But I'm going to be dreadful.
Honestly,
I'm going to be
it's
so dreadful.
so
at it.
brilliant. It is everything that you imagine. The worlds, the lands, the whatever they've created are spot on. They
Do you
are
get a bald
so...
actor that pretends to be?
You get
Richard
a
Ryan?
maze master, and we have this brilliant woman called Zelda. They guide you around, and they know what all the challenges are. And the challenges are absolutely brilliant.
Was
They're
she-
exactly like you remember. She was absolutely brilliant. They are obviously actors or whatever, but they're just great. And if you enter into the fun of it, then you just
You
get
just
so
gotta
more
go for
about
it.
But I've heard
There's
Chris-
lots of pointless running to the Crystal Maze theme tune.
Great.
I love that. Exactly. All of that.
So, basically, I feel like the conclusion from this chat, this really long chat about dating, is that being a bit adventurous on a first date is probably a really good idea because it's a memorable thing, isn't
I
it?
agree.
And
And
it helps you get to know someone.
If it's not your first date, then at least in your... Because statistically, we know that dates fizzle out over a while, a little while. And if you're doing meals, bars, whatever, if you do an activity, I think you're sort of encouraged to be more yourself. And I think that doing something fun, of which in London there are so many things to do. Bowling, mini golf, Crystal Maze, whatever.
Escape room.
Just go and do something fun.
Exactly. And if you're used to just going for a drink or going for a meal, try it. You might find something new, and you might find a new quality in yourself that you grow to love.
Exactly. Via dating, you've got to live for yourself a bit, I think.
Exactly. And I would really like to hear off our listeners actually what their adventurous first dates are.
Oh, definitely.
So they can get in
please.
touch with us via Twitter at @swipematchmarry.
Great.
.com. No, we don't have a website yet, do we?
No!
Marny, do that bit again. We will have one. At sitematchmarry.com. You're like my grandmother.
Thank you so much for listening to us rambling on about London dating.
Thank you, guys. Bring on the spring roll.
Oh,
Bye.
yes. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Swipe, Match, Marry. We'll be back next week for more relationship hijinks. Until then, please remember to subscribe using the podcast app so you don't miss out on any future episodes.
If you're braving the world of dating, or even if your dating days are behind you, we'd love to hear from you on Twitter. Give us a shout at swipematchmarry.
And as always, we hope that next swipe leads to a match and maybe even a lifetime of happiness.